Hi, I wanted to come talk today a little bit about escapism. Over the last couple of days, I have been in this really bad mental funk where I have just barely been existing. I have wanted to lay in bed all day and not do anything. I've just kind of laid there with my thoughts and my feelings, and then I reach a point where it kind of becomes a lot. And so I've actually played video games the last couple of days, and I've honestly been escaping my feelings and how disappointed I am with just the way life is and the way that I feel about life. And I feel like this is something that a lot of us in our society are doing, whether we're self-aware enough or not to admit that, or whether we want to admit that. I do believe that it's something that a lot of us are doing, whether it's video games, food, substances, sex. Ever since my breakup happened, I have been drinking every now and then, and I've even done cocaine a couple of times whenever I've been around people who had it. Most definitely trying to run away from those heavier feelings that I was having regarding my breakup. And then with the video games, it's also an escape. It's an escape from my reality instead of taking the time to sit there with my thoughts and my feelings and honor how I feel about things and the place that I am in at life. And just the disappointment that I have with the way life is in general, because I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we are expected to work our lives away just to barely survive. I think it's ridiculous that our lives are completely ruled by the concept of money, when money literally only has the value that we decide to give to it. The true currency is our energy, our time, which we so freely give away for very little in return. And I've just kind of been having a bit of an existential crisis. Oh my gosh, I can't talk right now, but you know what I mean. Over the last couple of days, because of this, I'm just really frustrated with the way that our society is. And as I was laying in bed today, I was thinking about going to play a video game, and I was like, no, I need to lay here with my thoughts. But then I decided to escape anyway, and I pulled up YouTube. And a Leo Skepi video came across my feed. Perfect timing. And he's talking about this exact same thing, about how he's just been in this funk and he needed to just lay there with himself, and he realized that he's been escaping, being with himself. And it just got me thinking about how I have been doing this the vast majority of my life. And it all started with video games when I was younger. At first video games were just something fun for me to play as a child, but I was neglected at home and I had emotionally unavailable parents. So as I started to get older and I started to feel those heavier emotions and understand my disappointment a little bit better, I just dove deeper into playing video games as a form of escapism and escaping all of those negative emotions and the situation that I was in life. It was a way for me to avoid what I was facing. And that continued well into adulthood. I used to play video games all day, every day, as I got older, as a teenager. And then even once I started working, I would work all day and then I'd come home and I'd play video games if I didn't go over to a friend's house to smoke weed, which is also escapism, using substances to escape, which is another thing that I have done throughout most of my life. I've escaped through video games. I've escaped through substances. I've escaped through food because I've always just been looking for that quick dopamine hit to get me through, because of how just disappointed I have been with the way that my life has gone. just disappointment with the way that my family is, disappointment with figuring out that I have to work my life away to survive, disappointment with the wages that we're expected to work for, disappointment with the fact that I have to perform to get anyone to care about me or to like me when I just want to be myself. There's just so many things that I'm disappointed in, and we live in this world where there are so many things presented to us to distract us from how we're feeling. And I feel like this is to keep us from coming together, because I feel like a lot of us are truly disappointed with the way that life is. You know, I don't think life was meant to be the way that it is. I think we were meant to connect to nature, connect to each other in communities, and spend more time with human connection and the natural world, not glued to screens all the time, not eating all this processed crap that they tell us is food when it's not. You know, I just wish the world were different. I feel like I don't belong here, and that's one reason why I have constantly felt this need to escape, because I don't feel like I belong here at all. I experience this depression and mental illness and all of this frustration with the way that things are in the world, and everybody else just acts as if it's normal and it's okay. They're complicit in all of it. And I'm just like, I'm not made for this world if I'm unhappy in it, you know? But then again, on the other hand, I am a firm believer that this isn't the way that things were supposed to be, and that feeling the apathy and the depression and just having the existential crisis is the only sane response to the way that things are. I feel like we have essentially been enslaved by the dollar under capitalism. And, you know, we go to war to fight for resources for the elites, you know, fighting these wars that we're just pawns in, that has nothing to do with us. And they tell us that it's for our safety, yet they don't care about the safety back home. I don't know, you guys. I'm frustrated with a lot of things. I have been participating in escapism recently and just trying to come to terms, hold myself accountable for things that I do, starting to acknowledge my feelings and my thoughts about things, because that is how you learn how to empower yourself. You don't become empowered by avoiding the way that you feel about anything. And how do we change the world if we just bottle down our emotions, what we think and we feel about things, and just accept that this is the way that life is? Are you really living your life by working 40 plus hours a week and then coming home and being so drained from work that you sit on the couch and watch TV with your family, or you play video games? You know, you get to talk to people online, but there's a whole world out there, and having that connection with someone face to face just doesn't even compare to talking to someone through a screen or a headset. I don't know. Just my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Thank you for listening, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day today. The clouds are so pretty right now. I want to show you. Check them out. Yeah, today's a good day, even if I did lay in bed half the day.